Do not attempt to adjust your radio. There's nothing wrong. We have taken control of this to bring you this special show. We're not on the radio. We're actually on your computer. This is the Mothership Connection. We're glad you're here. Episode number 14, getting ready to take off. My name is Dobie Maxwell, also known as the King of Uranus. Right over here is freshly built Greg DeGuire, back from the hospital. His titanium joints are ready to jingle and jangle. Right here, kissing her guns, the gun show. Carrie Turner, our Millennial Falcon. She's also the security guard. Anybody tries to break into the compound here, she will ball up her fist and club them like baby seals.
What's the joke? And you know the number of a good veterinarian, because these puppies are sick. This way to the gun show. 2 tickets to the gun show.
We are in the Cosmic Compound. If we told you where it was, we'd have to kill you. And we don't want to do that.
No.
We're thrilled that you are here. Also joining us in the studio, our guests.
They're laughing and they're covering their mouth. You can laugh. It's okay. Laughter's good.
Exactly.
You can hear it.
Yeah, we have 2.
That's what makes it funnier.
Yes.
Yeah.
The laugh track.
What do you...
Our 2-person
Our audience of 2, yes.
Adam and Emily are here. They also are packing heat, too, so don't try to find us.
Right.
What we'd like to talk about today, I think, is the planet Saturn. Not the car. I know there was a car named Saturn. There was a gentleman that is named Jordan Maxwell. No, except they're making a gun show. Twisted steel.
Hulk smash.
Exactly right. This is Al, our alien pal here, as a matter of fact.
Looks like he's doing that too.
He's doing it too, exactly.
Yeah.
The little
Baby
green,
smash.
Sorry.
2 little green olives there. Just, yeah. So I'm trying to think. Jordan Maxwell is a guy, no relation. And he is a man that speaks gloom and doom and conspiracy theories and how everything is evil and bad. And you listen to him and it's like, boy, he's really right when it comes to things. And he is a big proponent that the planet Saturn is the epicenter of the solar system. I remember being a kid, I don't know how you guys thought this, when they told me that Earth was the only planet that could sustain life, I remember being age 6 or 7 thinking, there's no way. If there's all these stars out there and we're the only ones, I remember thinking that as a little kid. Now, supposedly, I don't know how much you know about the planet Saturn. There was a jazz musician named Sun Ra. You can look it up. Sun Ra and his heliocentric space orchestra, ARK, a weird duck, and he died probably the early 90s. And he talked about that he was not from here, he was from the planet Saturn.
And if you look at him, you believe him.
You believe him. Yeah, he's a little bit kooky.
He is out there, as they say.
Out there, as they say. But I didn't really think about it. Now, reading through the internet, I don't know about you guys. I don't own a television, and I go through YouTube videos, and next thing I know, the sun's up. You know, I'll start at 9, 10 o'clock at night, and the next thing I know, at 6 in the morning, and look at all these things. There is a lot of stuff going on now. We're talking about Saturn. They found a hexagonal shape, a perfectly hexagonal shape on the North Pole of Saturn. Did you know this?
Huh. No. I didn't hear about it.
I didn't hear about it either.
I knew about the stuff on Mars, but I never heard much about Saturn.
I saw the only recent thing I saw was that NASA got as close as it has been ever to Saturn.
I think that's why a lot of these things are coming back. Now, I'm not sure if it's NASA things coming back, because now
probably not.
Because you can look at Mars, you can NASA photos of Mars, and you see all the time. You just go to YouTube and look at latest Mars discoveries, and they're finding it looks like a junkyard there. They're finding looks like an ape sitting there. There's a lady.
Now, I'll preface this about NASA as an anagram for never a straight answer. So you can't always trust what they put out as propaganda, because realizing that they get the photos and they filter them, then they show to the public what they think they can show, not what they ought to show. So, continue.
Well, NASA basically is a government entity, an agency. Technically, they should work for us.
But
so should the IRS.
Yeah, but they
so
don't.
should politicians. But I think we're just cattle and sheep. But it was amazing to me. Look it up. It's a perfect. A hexagon is a 6-sided shape. And is that the total? What does that mean? It's a cube, and it would be if a 3D cube on flat paper, it would be a hexagon. And I'm thinking there's got to be something more than that. Exactly the same look that I gave is when you're up at night and barefoot and you don't turn the light on to go to the bathroom. You step in the cat box. It's like ooh, that's the same look I had. It's like well,
I'm a terrible artist.
Yes, well you.
Anyways.
You're trying to hold it up for the people at home.
No, I'm not going to show off my horrible artistry, but I get where you're
going. Are you trying to draw a cube?
3D cube, yeah.
Okay, I can do that.
Sorry, I'm a bad doodler.
No,
Anyways.
In addition to that, Bad Doodlers. There you go.
Hey,
Bad
wrote
Doodlers.
itself.
There's a good band name right there. Long story longer. The
children's band.
The children's band. Yeah, like Captain Kangaroo songs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What rhymes with pickle, stuff like that.
The Hexagonal Maze is their first song.
Hexagonal Maze is first. So Saturn, not only did they find the hexagonal thing, they also found the rings of Saturn emit musical noises. I know
What?
I sound I know I sound crazy.
Same face.
Same face, exactly right. But allegedly, they're not very thick, but there are noises that emanate from those rings.
Now, aren't the rings like a small asteroid belt? Isn't that what that is?
That's
technically
allegedly what it might be. And there's also a moon of Saturn called Europa, which is a little, I believe it's either a little bigger or a little smaller than Earth, which has liquid water that they have pretty much confirmed, and there would be likely to have life on that moon, not even the planet of Saturn.
which is the moon itself.
The moon of Saturn, and it's got plenty more. So allegedly, it's all alleged.
Saturn has a few moons, doesn't it?
quite a few.
Yeah.
I know Uranus has 26 moons.
Huh. That's a lot
It's a
of
lot of
moons.
full moons.
A lot of
Hey,
Good joke. Bingo. Al, plug your ears. You can't do stuff like that. Yeah, it's very good. So I thought that was fascinating. I wanted to bring it up for the group. 'Cause I probably should do more research on this, but I look at these things and it's absolutely spectacular.
Homework for this week.
Homework
Because
for
I
this
want to
week.
see that too. I've never heard
Now,
of that.
now, supposedly, allegedly, I'll always preface like that. Now, Jupiter, okay, that's the one bigger than Saturn. The red eye, the red spot.
Storms in there.
Well, it's 3 Earths. The red storm, and the storms on Jupiter and Saturn are going crazier than they've ever seen it before. Now, again, there's a lot more billions, millions, trillions of years. Like when people say, "Well, it's the coldest month in history" or the warmest month in history, they've only been taking temperatures on Earth for 100 years, 110
Give or take.
years.
Give or
So
take, yeah.
that doesn't say that much. But how long have they been studying the planets? Probably even less time like that. But allegedly, it's the most storm time. So I don't know if something's going on in the universe, or the solar system, whatever it is. But
I'm going to call it the sun. Everything has to do with the sun. So whatever the sun is doing or not doing affects every planet in the solar system.
But according to the videos that I was watching, Saturn is the second sun. It's like a burnt-out star. I'm not saying I believe this. I'm just saying what I have heard. Now, the half-truths, a little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing.
Now,
you get a Saturn expert on the show, I have no idea.
Binary systems are star systems that have 2 stars, and that happens from time to time. There are a few binary star systems, nearby as they
The
were.
Pleiades, right?
Yep, that and
Sirius?
Oh God, I think Sirius is a binary, and so is it'll come to me. Anyways, it happens. So, but they say that there's another planet, the lost planet that's in our solar system called Planet X or Nibiru. It's on some kind of bizarro elliptical orbit. Now, millions and millions of years ago, if that planet was still in its orbit, there would have been enough room in this solar system for this one to have been a binary system. If the planet goes that far out, it's going to need heat to survive. Otherwise, when it goes past the only sun, it's dead till it comes back, or it's got to go in hibernation till it comes back because it's not going to get heat, light, or warmth from anywhere else. I would think. I mean, not an astrologer, but...
Well, speaking of the sun, there is a video, which I did see, and allegedly, they don't know what it is, a large mothership, spaceship type of thing, plugged into the sun. It looked like it just plugged in and took energy out. Plasma, energy, whatever kind of energy the sun emits. Now, if they're having something to get close enough to the sun to do that, it's just like, what's the old joke? The Polish astronaut said we're going to be the first one to go to the sun. We'll burn up. Oh, we figured that out. We'll go at night. Oldest joke that I heard when I was 6.
I hadn't heard that
So
one.
many
Yeah, see,
jokes.
the old jokes are they're always classics because people haven't heard them. I heard it when I was a kid and laughed and laughed. I thought my grandpa, who told me was a genius.
My
And
grandpa
I wrote
once
then.
told me a
And then he
Pollock joke
became
that they were the
comedic.
first ones to put screen doors on submarines. Thank you, Grandpa.
Thank you, Grandpa. Why did the Polish guy pick his green tomatoes? To make room for the red ones.
Oh, yeah.
Bad humor. The classics never go out of style.
They never got us out.
Age 6.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all right, so speaking of moons for a moment, if that moon has life, I'm going to talk about bizarre moons. Our moon is one of the most bizarre because our moon is the only moon in this solar system that perfectly blots out the sun as far as the lunar eclipse goes. No other moon surrounding any other planet in the solar system does that. It's perfectly designed to do just that. Why? Why doesn't any other moon do that? I mean, our moon is full of anomalies. We're talking about moons. It never rotates, and we always see the same space.
Yeah,
we
that
never
is
see the
amazing.
opposite side. No other moon has those properties. Not even close, not even one. So, I mean, there's a lot of oddities in the solar system that we still know very little or very anything about. So it wouldn't surprise me if they found, I mean, not necessarily life forms like humans or mammals, but bacteria or even some amphibious life on a moon of Saturn. That really wouldn't surprise me. because there's a basic element found in the universe that's carbon. So if you have carbon atoms, you can do just about anything with, which creates a lot of life. I mean, you got to have, they're going to call that the Goldilocks. I mean, Goldilocks has a few phrases for astrophysicists, so it's the Goldilocks zone. So to have a planet to be able to inhabit life has to be within a certain amount of miles of the sun for it to sustain life. If it's too far away, it can't. If it's too close, it burns up. It has to be in the Goldilocks. And the Goldilocks refers to the porridge. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, but it's just right. So they call it the Goldilocks zone. So for a moon of Saturn, and Saturn is far from the sun, but given in specific rotation cycles, it could be close enough for some light to go into the water and for some of the sunlight to sustain life enough for it to, I don't know, make life, I guess. I guess I'd buy that. Thoughts?
Do you have an opinion? Do you care?
I seem to have stopped the conversation.
No, it's fascinating. and I think it just does, it seems like we are just a little tiny cosmic pebble.
Yeah.
That we're the only ones in the solar system. Does that seem like a waste?
Well, now, there's a specific equation, so they're constantly looking for other star systems or for other habitable planets in other solar systems around the galaxy. So it's called the Drake equation. So a professor named Drake came up with his equation, hence Drake equation, as far as what's the numerical possibility for other life in other solar systems. So if you calculate the odds of what it took for the Earth to create life in our solar system, based on the number of planets in other solar systems they found within reasonable distance, so you plug in this calculation to find out how many Earth-type planets there could be out in the galaxy that we've seen so far, and the number's quite high as far as planets that are sustainable for life. And again, carbon being the most common element found, it wouldn't surprise me if there's another type of humanoid subspecies out there somewhere. That wouldn't shock me at all. They wouldn't necessarily have to be green dragon, snake lizard people. I mean, it's possible, depending on the type of planet it is, but there probably is.
But there wouldn't necessarily have to be carbon-based life forms.
No, I mean, it's a common element, but that doesn't make it the only one. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it could be a planet of frog people, could be a planet of lizard people, snake people, maybe dinosaurs got somewhere else if they got here. If dinosaurs evolved from things here, who's to say that can't happen from other amphibious-type species, it would have to be reasonable that life comes from water, more or less. So it's reasonable to assume that there were other Earth-type planets out there and they had aquatic life. It's reasonable to assume that they might evolve similar, yet not quite exactly the same. So the odds of another planet having reptilian creatures, I'd say might be pretty high. Just a thought.
How would you feel about running into a dinosaur person at the store?
It'd be dynamite.
Dr. Dynamite.
Wait, say that again? A dinosaur person?
I don't know, like...
Well, think about it. I mean, if there are...
You mean like a dinosaur?
A dinosaur.
Yeah.
Like a caveman?
Dino caveman. His name is Rex.
I like the name or what did you have? Snake lizard people?
Snake lizard man, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying is life can evolve differently. I mean, we
like
evolve...
the evolutionary chart, you're talking about a couple places to the left.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go to a Bears game. Chicago Bears.
Ouch.
You
yeah.
see most of their
or
fans.
certain bars here in town, I could recommend.
Yeah, that's true too.
You can find lots of Missy Links in the corner of the bar.
I don't know.
I'm just saying is I think it's possible.
What was that movie we watched the other day?
Oh, we're referring to our studio audience.
Idiocracy.
Highly recommended. Idiocracy. Mike Judge, if you like Beavis and Butthead, and the not the Family Guy. What's the other name? King of the Hill.
King of the Hill.
Yes, thank you. King of the Hill was his show as well. Yes, Idiocracy was a movie that did not do well because it's too close to the
truth. It's too close to home.
Time travel movie, I guess.
Yeah, if the premise is the premise for those people.
Now, I used to work with a feller. He was a coworker, and I thought that his light bulb wasn't too bright. So I'd ask him every day, "Hey, dude, what'd you do last night? Do you got a lot to do today? What do you got plans for the weekend?" I thought maybe he hasn't evolved yet. Turns out he's from the future, because that's Idiocracy. The language had de-evolved into a series of grunts and groans and mumbles. Turns out my coworker's from the future.
Yeah, check it out. A guy that's normal intelligence falls asleep for how many years? I don't know, 50
500.
500 years. Turns out he's the smartest man on Earth after 500 years.
Yeah, because it devolved.
He has no code. Where's his tattoo?
Yeah. Well, and now I saw a thing on Facebook the other day. It was a funny meme. It had a picture of hieroglyphics, and then next to it was a whole panel of emojis.
Oh, we talked about this last
We talked about that, how language went from hieroglyphs to emojis. We're not going to need words anymore.
Yeah.
So for grunts and groans and smiley faces, words will be obsolete.
I think we're like a terrarium for someone, whoever's watching us. We're just a bunch of,
Yeah, we are a living zoo. There's some hybrid creature of brain organisms just pointing and laughing and snickering. We're in the fishbowl.
Yeah, I think it's a giant, it's like the Cosmos' funniest videos, like America's funniest videos. It's just basically a bunch of crotch shots.
Or the movie in Idiocracy was just the ass.
Ow, my balls.
Yeah, ow, my balls. And the Academy Award-winning picture was just a naked guy's butt for 2 hours.
Won Oscars.
Won Oscars, yeah.
Best screenplay.
Yeah, best screenplay. Just ass. But, I mean, we're laughing, but you know what? I don't think we're that far away from that, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know. I'm older than you guys, but when I was in school, they had calculators, and they just came out, and the teachers were appalled.
Oh, yeah.
How can you ever use a calculator?
It's going to dumb you down.
It's going to dumb. Well, it turns out she was right.
Yeah.
Everything is up. GPS is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm very thankful for GPS. To be honest with you, as far as technological advances, I'm going to call GPS one of the best ever.
It's a miracle.
It
I'm not
is
saying
a
it
miracle.
isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, it gets to be a crutch and a habit.
Yeah.
When I started out, again, back in my day, I walked uphill to school in the snow. You damn
I'll do
kids,
you one better.
Get off my lawn.
My truck has a glove box full of maps.
Remember
That's
Who
why-
has
that's
that
why-
anymore?
MapQuest was
I do.
before GPS, too.
Do you have maps in your car?
Yeah, I actually do.
Really?
An Illinois
That's
one,
surprising.
Do you know how to use it?
Congratulations.
Yes.
Good. The shape. I mean,
I think they're interesting. That's
Well,
why
they
I
are.
was collecting them.
I will take anyone from your generation besides you, because you're one of the few that even get it, and say, okay, here's a map of the 48 lower continental United States.
Oh,
I will
God.
give you $1 for every state that you can name, and I will walk away with a full wallet.
Yeah.
It's
I
unbelievable.
loved geography as a kid. It was one of my favorite things.
You're one of the few. It is amazing.
You are here.
I was with a friend of mine had his kid, and the kid was maybe 17 or 18. This was just recently. And we were driving in Chicago down by the Field Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, I'll never forget, I didn't know Chicago had an ocean next to it.
Oh,
And I turned around and I looked at my friend and I didn't say anything. I just kind of shook my head.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, really? Woodwork squeaks, out come the freaks.
I know we could probably do a show on the American education system, and I'm just going to give one quick example before I want to go back to more solar system type stuff. My nephews, who are now 21, so I mean they're a few years out of school, but I was always and still am fascinated with JFK. And I remember asking them while they were in school, I said, you guys ever learn about American history and Kennedy being assassinated? Oh yeah, sure. If I'd be curious to know what your teacher taught. Well, the teacher taught us that the Kennedys had bad luck, and that's why he got shot.
They kept stepping in front of bullets.
Like, so wait a minute. Your U.S. history teacher told you that Kennedy got shot because his family was cursed with bad luck, and that was a question on a test. Yeah, we could put bad luck as a reason why JFK got shot, and we would get a passing grade. Like, what? That's crazy. I mean, I understand the teachers are under a lot of pressure to be as politically correct and
They
as
gotta be
weird.
kind of neutral.
They have to
technically.
be very neutral. You can't teach the truth because you're going to upset someone, and that person's parent sues the school, and then the teacher's out of a job.
Yep.
But come on, I mean, what are you teaching it?
Now we're going to get into conspiracy theory. I think this is a higher authority that wants a nation full of stupid,
Yeah, they want us
mouth-breathing-
dumbed down.
And it's going that way right
They're
now,
winning
too.
big time.
So to dumb us down, that way we can't find out what song Saturn is singing in its rings to us. Now, it wasn't... Now, speaking of weird musical entries, they found... let's see if I... Give me a moment. I want to say it was a Egyptian vase.
Or vase.
Or vase.
Or vase. I don't know.
That contained musical notes. Because they said if the person used a specific brush to mold the clay, if they were humming a song, that got embedded into the clay. So they took the clay and they took a record needle to it, and it produced musical notations. So I'm not surprised that happened. What the hell special was I watching?
Song was Play That Funky
It's
Music.
like White Boy. Yes. Thank the pharaohs. And they proved it, so they never really could figure out or get a song out of it. But it produced notes. Musical notes were embedded into the clay.
Numbers, we talked on the last episode about numerology and numbers. Numbers and musical notes have energy.
Sure they do.
As I think probably letters do too. But of different languages. But numbers and music especially, that's the
It's the ultimate curse. Why don't you go tuning fork yourself?
Go fork yourself.
Hey. Now we're in tune.
I was gonna say I've been listening to that Parliament album a lot. The Mothership Connection.
Good. Oh.
I think it's great.
I gave her a whole bunch of CDs that she hadn't heard of, so I'm trying to bring her up to
It's
speed.
brilliant. And I was gonna say that first song that comes up where it's just like I want to get funked up.
Yeah,
that's true. When you listen to that stuff, it is it's timeless. And I remember I heard it when I was 12 years old. I just heard it, it's good. And George Clinton apparently is very nerdy and very read a lot of the same books we're talking about, Easter Islands and the Bermuda Triangle and the same things that we talk about. These things are subjects that people of intelligence, and I'm not flattering myself, but I mean people that like this stuff tend to be very intelligent people and curious, like a kid. A kid asks questions until your parent, stop it, shut up, you don't need to know that, and then you stop asking because you figure they're going to shoot us down. Well, we're going to be the kids. Why?
I'm going to keep telling you this stuff.
Keep telling you this stuff.
Well, I mean, I've never heard of musical notes on the Rings of Saturn, so that's my homework. I've never heard of such a thing before. And I would consider myself fairly well versed in conspiracy theories and oddities, especially for, now, a friend of mine, when we play trivia, like everyone has their strengths. We have someone that's good with science. We have someone that's good with sports. My friend said, well, we've got you, Greg, for your king of miscellany, because you never know what you're going to come up with. So I took actual pride in that. Because I don't have a speciality. I mean, I'm into a lot of things, and I've never heard that before. It's rare for me to say, well, I'd never heard of that one before. I'd never heard of that one before.
I had never heard of it either, but again, you flick through these little videos. One thing I like about YouTube, depending on the kind of mood you're in, you could watch something for an hour and a half. Yeah. You could watch something for a minute and a half.
Also, YouTube David Icke. I don't think we've talked about him enough.
We want to get him on the show as a guest. You know who that is? That's your homework.
Oh, okay. Yeah. David, just as a quick reference, David Icke came out with
ICKE's.
ICKE's a British feller.
Okay. All right.
Pip pip cheerio. So his whole thing was people turn into reptilians.
Okay.
And you can see phase shifts sometimes, especially with politicians where the camera gets fuzzy. But if you slow-mo through the fuzz, you can see their face change into like a lizard person. Yeah, it's kind of kooky. Until you hear him talk about it, it's like...
I think you mentioned him before.
That makes a lot of sense. Whether he's right or not, I don't know.
He's a former soccer player. He calls him ex-footballer because he calls soccer football in England. Right. But I showed him probably, 25 years ago, he was on a news show. And he was I can't even think of anybody in America who was mocked and ridiculed and made fun of like he is. Like just a nutbag. Yeah. And people were laughing at him left and right. I pretty much felt bad for him when he's talking about alien lizard people, and it's kind of out there. But now he charges a lot of money. People come out $3,000-$4,000, and he talks for 8 hours.
Oh my goodness!
I don't want to do anything for 8 hours.
No, but the thing is, once you start listening to him, you want to listen to the rest. And 8 hours is nothing.
A couple of videos. He's at davidike.com. We get nothing out of this if you want to go check it out. I saw a couple of his videos. One was almost 3 hours long. I'm not going to watch it for 3 hours. I watched it twice, back to back. It was that interesting.
Wow.
And it's just, George Bush, the whole Bush family, apparently, allegedly, are these alien people. That reptilians do a lot of bad things. Yeah. And I don't know if it's true or not. If it's bull, it's well-crafted bull.
Now, a good friend of mine is well-versed, and I had a lunch meeting with her the other day. In fact, their show is called Bats in the Belfry.
Good show.
So I'd like to give a special shout-out to Anita, Tammy, and Pam. They're authors and extraordinary ladies altogether who are well-versed in their craft. And Pam was especially into the alien, and Tammy very well, too. They have expressed interest of wanting to come on the show and talk in depth more about this sort of thing, because I don't think we didn't talk enough about it really on the radio show, but because they're so into it and they're so well versed with it, they make it extraordinarily interesting. They make it to where you want to listen to every last word that they say, because it's jaw dropping to me. It's like, what? But then you listen to them like, I guess it could be. I can't find a way to disprove it. It's fascinating. So, hello, ladies. We need to get you here as soon as possible. And we will definitely do that. Have we fulfilled our contractual obligation? Yeah, and one more thing before we go, too, because I was telling Greg about this. We might be going to Chocolate Fest on Friday if weather permits. There's a guy, I met him once. He was performing there. Have you ever been to Chocolate Fest? No, never. I never have either. Free chocolate. I'm going to come back weighing 1,000 pounds instead of 500. Wait. Is that in Nestle in
Burlington,
Wisconsin? Yeah. If you're watching on the internet, it's Wisconsin.
Yeah. So there's always an entertainment stage, and we saw this guy back in 2013. He's a hypnotist, and he's brilliant at what he does. We experienced it, my sister and I, ourselves, and he actually put us to sleep. We were following everything he said, and he was great.
Was he dull? Is that why I put you to sleep? No. I'm kidding, that's a joke. I'm sorry.
He's a great person, down to earth, but and then we were fans of him before he went on America's Got Talent. Now, do you know Howie Mandel, the bald guy who was Deal or No Deal? Yeah, germaphobe, OCD. He got Howie Mandel to shake everybody's hand from the judges. He doesn't shake anyone's hand ever. And but he's going to be at Chocolate Fest this Friday, so we're going to...
Howie Mandel?
No, the Chris Jones, the hypnotist.
I was kidding.
Oh my god. So we're going to try and get him on the show.
Excellent. And if you'd like to be on the show, if you have an idea or a topic, we'd love to talk about it. Again, we're just getting started. We're not even warmed up yet. We're just trying to get some episodes laid down.
Yeah, episode 14. We're still finding our feet.
We're not even started yet. We're not even in first gear yet. So, some ideas. We have a whole book full of them here. Send them to us. Carrie, how can they get a hold of us?
All right. So we have the Mothership Connection, just regular page, and then we have Gregory DeGuire as a friend page, and then tinfoiltalkshow@gmail.com.
I mean, I can quick as far as upcoming shows, things that I still want to get to. The Clinton emails, the TSA changes to TNA because they're frisking so many people in so many oddball places. Trump and the Russians, or is it all Bolshevik? I love that one. Did Vlad know, or is he Putin us on? Love that one too. Obama wiretap dancing, government-controlled fake cell towers, and Hitler invents Viagra. Can't wait to talk about that one.
And the Chicago Cubs winning the World Series. Was it a conspiracy? We'll have to let you know. Join us later. This is Greg. This is Carrie. My name is Dobie Maxwell, the King of Uranus. Thank you for listening. The Mothership is landing, but we're coming back soon. Join us.